Eric Koller, thank you for coming to chat with us.
Thank you for having me.
Eric, you're a physical comedian.
Correct.
And a performer, and
Yes.
all things artistic, and a very naturally funny person.
Thank you. It's a tough job.
Yeah. Can I ask how you started in this industry?
Well, I in front of the television. When I was a kid, I watched the comedians on television. I was like, wow, what's happening? What's happening there? And I wanted that too. And then on primary school, we had the once a week, I believe, we had the open stage, and we could do whatever we want. And I was always there. And then on high school, we had a very locally famous cabaret. And I managed to steal the show, and with my head in the newspaper, and that was the start of like, yeah, this is it. This is going to work.
When you started doing that, how hard was it at first? It's a steep climb at the start, right?
Well, the very beginning is not so hard because you don't know what you're doing. You do what you like. It becomes harder when it's getting for real. When people are paying a ticket to come and see you, and then there's expectations, and then you have to deliver.
There's a financial cost to the failure.
Especially in the beginning, it's an ego failure if you fail.
Yeah. Do you have a healthy ego?
I think so. Yeah.
It was on my list of questions to ask about ego because comedians have a broad range of ego.
Yeah.
There's comedians with no ego and they're just doing their thing. And there's comedians with the most unhealthy ego you've ever
and
seen.
which comedian do you like better?
That's a very good question. I really enjoy the comedians with an unhealthy ego. They're very funny. They're dangerous.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
But where do you fit on that spectrum of ego?
I've learned that when you go on stage, you have to leave your ego at home. Unless you're very famous, then people want you to bring a little ego. But of course, you need personality on stage. But it's not entirely about you. When you're doing comedy on stage, it's not about look at me, I'm funny. You have to serve the energy of the moment to get the best out of it.
Why physical comedy?
Well, because I started solo, and there was nobody to talk to. There was no reason for talking, and it was not about the verbal jokes. It was about the physicality of it, and I was in love with that.
You have a great physicality for visual comedy, for physical comedy.
Yeah.
Did that come first, or did you train that?
It's a natural thing. I think I'm just lucky that I found my purpose in life. People ask me, when did you decide to become a comedian? I never decided to become a comedian. I was it all the time, and
It found you.
Yeah.
You're at the top now. You're from an outsider looking in, and we spoke about this briefly. It looks to me like you are at the peak of what any physical comedian in particular would call success.
Yeah.
You're playing massive shows, touring the world. You're the front and center, the face of the production. Before we talk about what it's like being there, what was it like getting there?
You know, I've always had fun in my life. I had always fun in the job. I've never saw it as a job. I managed to get on drama school, and I completely bent the school to my terms. And I did a festival, and I won the festival, and I just start performing for money. And of course there's a moment that people ask, what's the reason for your next show? And then there's a moment, because you have to pay the rent. That's actually an interesting moment, because then you're testing yourself on your right to exist, and so that was interesting. I mean, creating, and the first 10 years, it's always a struggle. It's always struggling, but it's a challenge. It's a fun struggle.
Did you ever question the reason for your next show?
No, not really. I was so confident that I have enough ideas in me, and I was never worried about that. It's not that I never made a bad show or made a mistake, but it's I've always liked, yeah, okay, I have ideas for the next show. And
were there any times that you nearly didn't continue? Were there, whether they were financial reasons or ego reasons or for any other reason, was there ever any hesitation?
Never, no. Recently I got a question. Someone asked me, did you ever think of quitting? And I've never ever thought about stopping or giving up, because I think I'm not that kind of person. I just don't give up. I see the challenge, and when life's beating me up, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fight back even harder.
How much of the climb do you think is luck?
50%. I've heard the definition of success, and it was explained, it's 50% preparation and 50% luck. If you have all the preparation and no luck, you won't be successful. If you have only luck and no preparation.
What lucky moments did you have in your career? Are there specific ones that without that exact moment, things couldn't have progressed?
Yeah, there are many, and then there's this key points of luck. I think the first one was during my auditioning for the drama schools, because there in the Netherlands there are several, and I had no clue. I just won the biggest, I guess, and I was not accepted. And then then the second biggest, and I was not accepted. And then I was like, oh, then we tried that one. And then the artistic director said, we have good news and we have bad news. Oh, damn it. Okay, give it to me, tell me. And they said, you're not an actor. And I said, no, okay. And then I said, but what's the good news? And then they said, well, we're not letting you go either. And they asked me, what do you want to do with the drama school, with your education? So I said, I want to be a comedian. And then they said, okay, then that's what we're going to do. And they let me do 50% of the drama course. So I was in, and the other 50% I could decide. They asked me, what do you want to do? And then of course they offered. I was not only taught in comedy, because I had the luck that the artistic director, his specialty was comedy. He directed comedy theater groups, and he knew a lot about it. But I also was trained as an actor, and for the role I'm in now, or maybe the things I do, I value that a lot. I did for 20 years. I made my own shows, and I had a lot of fun with it. And then, 20 years is a long time, and I guess like in the 12th, 13th, 14th year in my career, I thought, you know what, I want to widen my horizon, and let's go to the Edinburgh Festival. I was at the wrong venue at the wrong time. They booked me at 12:30 or 11:30 in the evening, and the venue was, well, if you know Edinburgh, open your closet, empty it, put a spot on it, and you have a venue. And that kind of venue I was in. It could fit 100 people. I had 10 paying visitors every night, and you sign up for an amount of evenings, and I signed up for all of them. So I did 30 nights with 10 people in my audience, and that was not fun. But I didn't give up. I was like, it made me mad, or it was angry about me. I was like, damn it, you had to prepare better. And so therefore I said, now you're here now, you stay here, and you're gonna finish this, and you're gonna perform every single night for 10 people. So that's what I did. And then I left the festival with no money in my pocket, and then nothing happened. 3 or 4 years later, I got an email. Hi, I'm the casting director of Cirque du Soleil. Are you interested in doing a show with us? And I was like, who is pranking me? I didn't trust it at all, so I left it. I said, don't answer, just don't answer. But I couldn't sleep off it, and I was like, And then I said, okay, speaking about ego, if someone wants to prank me, he just did a good job, I give it to him. I'll buy it, I'm gonna respond. So I emailed back. And nobody wanted to prank me. It was Cirque du Soleil, and they invited me to do a show. They saw me on the Edinburgh Festival.
One of the 10.
One of the 10. So that's luck number 2.
It's a romantic story, but it's also a reminder to never phone it in. Like, you always, even if there's one person in the audience, you always give everything to the performance, right?
Yeah, they paid for a ticket.
Yeah,
and they deserve to get it. But of course, you can wonder if it would be one person, can you still deliver for one person? Because comedy is something you do with
two ways.
Yeah, you do it together with the audience.
Yep.
And then if there's not enough audience, then 10 is enough for me.
Yeah.
Especially at that time. I think still today. So yeah.
But at some point, some of that has to be for you. You must do comedy for you as well.
Of course you do it for you because you want to do a job that you like.
Yeah.
And I find I'm very passionate about it, and I find it extremely interesting how comedy works, and I'm still studying it.
Yeah. On that topic, what insights do you have now about comedy and how it works?
Well, that your ego is not the most important part of it. For me, comedy is a lot about rhythm. And that's an interesting thing, because that's where you have to focus on your build-up, on your structure. And
have you had any huge failures? Has there been any, like, what are the down moments? What are the...
Oh man, there's many shows that didn't work because there's lots of times because the little raiders in the clockwork were not on the right spot.
Do you think that you could be where you are now without having those hard times?
No. Maybe you have to fail, but stay open for failure. Be ready for failure. Take the risk of failure. I produced many shows, and in the first couple, I was always terrified. I was nervous, and because of that, I made mistakes. There was a moment that I said, "Okay, it doesn't help. Being nervous doesn't help." So you tell yourself, you know what to do. You prepared this. Go and do that and have fun. And if it goes wrong, then it goes wrong. Then you fix it. And from that time on, I'm not nervous for a premiere anymore. And of course, there's a healthy tension, but I can manage it now.
So you are currently lead clown and main character in the Luzia Cirque du Soleil touring act, which is currently in Australia, currently in Melbourne. This is the top from what I can see for anyone who wants to be in this career. What's the view like from up there?
It never came up to me that I could do a Cirque show, especially not a Cirque du Soleil show. So I was like, yeah, of course. And then it was Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil is asking me. Wow, that's huge. And then you arrive at the creation. You arrive in Montreal, where the headquarters of Cirque du Soleil is, and then reality starts, and you start basically from scratch. But okay, then you work yourself out and up, and stay focused. And of course, you don't walk with your head in the clouds every day. Oh, I'm doing some special job. It's a job, and I love my job. I'm having fun, and I still love it, because otherwise you can't do it for 8 years.
So I had the privilege of seeing the show, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
How much input did you have into writing your own bits?
A lot. Maybe that's luck number 3. Yeah, so there was a director on the show who had to leave at the moment of creation because his wife was dying. And that's extremely sad. So we all understood, yeah, go, 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 go. And then there was a replacement of the director, and she said, "Pooh, what's going on here?" Then I said, "Do you mind if I write down what I think is my track? Would that help you?" And she said, "Oh yes, please, please do that." So that's what I did, and I thought I went over the whole show because I'm in the whole show.
So part of what this series is about is I'm hoping that this will help other people who are looking at you at the top and thinking, how do I climb that ladder?
Yeah.
So is there, I don't want to ask if there's any advice you'd give to your younger self or something as cliche as that, but I want to ask, is there's sticking points for everyone in every industry. There's hurdles that must be jumped.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight into how those hurdles can best be jumped, or how to smooth the process, or how to ease the pain of the climb?
Yeah. There isn't. You cannot ease the pain. You cannot smoothen the path. It is just it's messy. And the cliche is never give up. And I'm gonna illustrate that a bit more. I've learned to keep on going. When you create a piece of, let's say, a piece of art, it doesn't matter if it's a song, if it's it's a photograph, I don't know, a painting, a poem, a book, or a comedy show. It starts with the idea, and the idea is brilliant. That is yes, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be great because this is a brilliant idea. Okay, then you start. For most people, it starts and it ends at starting to create, because then you draw the line, you write the sentences, you bring in the props, doesn't matter, and then it looks like shit. This is not going to work. Your whole idea, no, it's supposed to not look good, or because I think nowadays we are so used to think of the final product. I think with the social media, where everything is great and brilliant, we forget about how we got there, and nothing is just there.
So we've talked about the losses on the way up and the difficulties in getting to the top. The thing we haven't spoken about is the cost of getting there, the missed opportunities, the pain, the suffering that's involved in being an artist. Do you have some costs that you've incurred on the way up?
Yeah, well, besides the fact that it hurts your ego many times, and that it's not always a success. Down the road, it basically is your social contacts are very limited. You are always working when everybody's off. So you miss all the birthday parties, we even have missed Christmases, New Year's Eve, and not everybody understands that. So You learn to know your friends very quick.
Good. I think we've got everything. I can't imagine anything that, unless you've got great stories, is there anything we... No? There's no like amazing story.
I want to keep some for my book.
All right.
No, I don't know. I think we covered it.